Yo, this is Shadi, coming from the very peak of a mountain to deliver you some peak fiction. Let's get it. The women in One Piece, they're awesome. From Sanji's mom sacrificing her life so that her one son could have his emotions, from Rouge having a pregnancy for over 20 months than planned, or even to Don simply raising sons of the most notorious pirates with no worries. Some of the most important people in One Piece are the women. And the Wano women have not disappointed. The land of Wano, a traditional country at its heart. Traditionally, men work physical labor jobs. Women are homemakers. And Hiyori is introduced as the epitome of a conventional Wano woman. She's beautiful. She has grace. All the people of Wano respect Hiyori when we see her 20 years into the future. But how did Wano's conventional values lead to Hiyori's most powerful tool, a mask? Let's discuss Wano's real OG, Kozuki Hiyori, aka Koramasaki. Kozuki Hiyori was born to a pair of savages. Parents, daughter of Odin and Lady Toki. We know Odin was a Giga Chad, a legendary figure of Wano. And Lady Toki was a time-traveling hero who was doing it all by herself until she found Odin. These both were destined to bear some little monsters. From a very early age, we see a bit of Hiyori's strong personality. She might have picked up a few bad habits from being on Whitebeard's ship or Roger's ship. She was on some legendary cruise ships, some badasses. And we see her physically challenge her brother with her tenacity, kicking him in the face, drop kicking him in the face, hands up, having so much fun every time doing it. When they got back to the land of Wano and was in the land of Curry, Momo, Toki, and Hiyori did not sit around. They gained respect by showing their work ethic and their dedication to Wano. The people of Curry loved them for it. She became one of royalty in Curry. When Odin gets back, we don't see a lot of Hiyori, but we know she does learn the shamisen during that time. After Odin and Lady Toki's death, Hiyori had to mature quickly. Or she could lose her life and lose all the morale of the nation of Wano forever with her death. Hiyori is one of the first members of the raid to take control of her life to help guarantee the success of the plan. Kawamatsu was protecting Hiyori and was willing to sacrifice his life to complete the mission of protecting Hiyori. Hiyori refused that outcome, and she ran away, leaving without a word and saving Kawamatsu's life and the raid's success before it could fail. It gave Kawamatsu a reason to live, a reason to escape prison. He needed to find Hiyori and make sure that he did not fail his master, leading to him being able to eat 20 years of poisoned fish just for his moment. Hiyori's runaway led her to another red scabbard who was actually needing a bit of energy or needed a little bit more to reinvigorate himself. She finds the formerly known red scabbard, Denjiro. When Denjiro sees Hiyori, He cries. He asks for forgiveness. And he brings Hiyori in as they start to plan their mission to reclaim the Shogun title. Helping the raid gain another ally and weapon against Orochi, Hiyori. Cut to 20 years later. The nation of Wano is completely taken over by Orochi. We find Our Lady Hiyori as the top Oiran Kuramasaki. And she is her. Everybody wants to be the top Oiran. Everyone tries to train to be the top Oiran with Robin's top Oiran trying to help her become like Hiyori, learning the shamisen. This is when we see Hiyori at her most savage, and I start to fall in love. The mission to get close to Orochi starts now. She gets the invite to the castle. At Orochi's castle, we are introduced to my favorite design choice of the arc. Her kitsune mask and shamisen. In the future of the arc, we learn that these are a symbol of Hiyori's sadness. Her attachment to her father's death. She cries every time she plays the shamisen. Because it's her father's favorite song that she plays. Which becomes Orochi's favorite song. Funny, if you really think about it. Hiyori plays the song at Orochi's eventual funeral, like Odin implied he wanted. At the castle, Hiyori and Denjiro plan has success. Using Orochi's lack of self-esteem, his inconsistent treatment of people to fool the fool. Hiyori stands up for her sister Toko. Does not back down from the Shogun Orochi. And the top Oiran Kuramasaki is no more. She gains the respect of some of the warriors in the room at that moment because of Orochi's lack of self-confidence and her strong will to go against him. Hiyori and Denjiro laid the foundations of Orochi's eventual execution at that moment. Hiyori, being the G that she is, puts herself in the front lines without even batting an eye, helping win the war of information at the front and saving a little girl Toko. Hiyori silently kills her bad bitch persona Kuramasaki just for success in the future. This doesn't stop Hiyori from being a baddie. This does not stop Hiyori from being an absolute baddie. Protecting Toko from one of the worst generation members helps Hiyori to recruit Wano's new Ronin champion, Zoro. We notice in Wano that there is a wandering samurai that usually is the most skilled swordsman. We saw that with Ryuma, and we saw that with Odin. Now Wano has Zoro, who probably will return to battle the King of Blades, although it'll be him. When Hiyori recruits Zoro, she starts dropping some much needed lore and understanding of Wano for him. And on the way to the funeral, because Toko learns that her dad is dying, showing him the pain that Okuboro town feels on a day-to-day basis. Kuramasaki and Yasui's funeral is one of the inciting incidents that leads to the raid on Onigashima. Her death Her sacrifice of her alias, Kuromisaki, is what leads to some of the raid's most important. After the incident, Hiyori equips one of Wano's heroes with a tool that can help turn the tide of battle. She gives Zoro her father's blade. Enma was very pivotal during the raid. Helped many times. Hiyori knew her role. This was her time to shine the brightest without dimming anyone else's light. Without any assistance or permission, Hiyori positions herself perfectly for the task she set for herself. Hiyori understands that the Red Scabbards are not going to have the strength to avenge their father. So she first goes to provide some first aid. Then accurately predicts that Orochi has multiple lives from his devil fruit. She knows that killing Orochi will not get them the power back in Wano, but Momo and Hiyori do not have the power to take back the power from Kaido. But Hiyori knows that the Kazuki clan is the one that has to kill Orochi. Hiyori makes a 200 IQ play and positions herself in the line of fire of where Orochi would be. She goes in front of his escape passage. Hiyori knew what a spineless man Orochi was and positioned herself right in Orochi's escape path. This is when Hiyori has her most gangster moment, and she makes sure she seizes her prize. But remember, she's a G. She always moves in silence. So first, she appears with her strongest weapon, her Kitsune mask and shamisen, in front of Orochi, almost like a ghost. Fooled Orochi to thinking that the ghost of Kuromisaki was coming to serenade him. Orochi spends minutes, hours, we can't really tell, just laying with Kuromisaki unguarded. Hiyori starts serenading Orochi to his funeral. While playing the shamisen, she stabs a sea-stone nail into Orochi. Once debris starts to fall on top of him, we see her she starts to explain her plan to Orochi. She waits, still playing the shamisen, till his anger can take no more, and she reveals herself to be Hiyori. She starts explaining to him that this was always her plan. She told Zoro that, I'm going to take you out. While Orochi's trapped under that debris, another one of his stupid ideas comes back to haunt him, and him and Kanjuro start their suicide pact, and Orochi's set on fire. Although even Orochi weasels his way out of the debris, and the sea stone has fallen out, so he's able to transform, but Hiyori's spirit is unfathomable. She may seem a little bit scared, but she does not run. She does not flee. She silently waits because she knows she has given Denjiro enough time to finish the job. And after Denjiro does his job, we see Hiyori hit Orochi with the line of Wano. Korazumis were meant to burn. We can tell how important Hiyori is to the plot by the line that she's given, that Oda gives her to wrap up the raid. Without Hiyori acting on her own, the Red Scabbards might have been too severely damaged to take out Jack, Paradise Sparrow, and Orochi. She gives Zoro's the tools that he needs to be successful during this war, and she makes sure that Orochi is not lurking around anymore. Although Hiyori was silent, she definitely was one of the stars of the Onigashima raid. At the end of the day, although Denjiro gave Kinemon all the respect for being the leader of the raid and tricking Kanjuro into believing he knew the plan, Hiyori executes a master plan without telling anybody or needing direction. She doesn't even get any help other than Denjiro finishing the job. During and before the raid, Hiyori is one of the only ones to know her purpose. Sanji's running around looking for what he needs to do. Zoro first goes upstairs, and then he realizes his job is to take out one of the commanders. Hiyori knew that her purpose and the Kozuki's purpose during that raid was to avenge her father and bring redemption back to the land of Wano. In a series where the main character tells you everything he's going to do, Hiyori's role was refreshing as the masked, ruthless killer of Wano. True OG. And if you really think about it, Hiyori has the highest kill count.